Southern California, welcome to the Dino and Nelson Show, Saturday afternoons from 5 to 6 p.m. and Sunday afternoons at 1 p.m. on Money Radio 1150 AM KTLK. Do you own a home or have plans to in the future? You'll get all the information you need to know about what's happening in the local real estate market and how to take advantage of that knowledge. How to approach home ownership or mortgage financing with design, vision, and focus, as well as accurate information. Whether you're buying, selling, or investing, listen to Real Estate Radio with Dino and Nelson Sunday afternoons at 1 p.m. right here on Money Radio KTLK AM 1150.
Good afternoon, everybody. This is Dino from the Dino and Nelson Show. This week, we have a great lineup with two powerhouse business people with Nichole Story of Prudential and Mike Salmon of Madison Street Partners.
We're going to explore, this is Nelson. Thanks, Dino, for the intro. Appreciate that. We're going to explore the commercial real estate sector with Mike Salmon and how this segment impacts our economy. And then we're also going to take a look at the residential side with Nichole from
Story,
Prudential,
how are you?
California
I'm great.
Realty.
How are you?
Doing great. Thank you for joining us today.
Absolutely. Thank you for having me.
So Nichole Story is our real estate agent down in Corona Del Mar at California Prudential Real Estate, and she is the young hotshot. Is that fair to call you a hotshot?
Young hotshot.
Well, I'm on the radio, so you can't see me blushing, but I don't know.
We're on the radio. You can't see you slapping Dino's face for that comment.
No, Nichole and I have been doing business for a while, and she does a tremendous job as a real estate agent. Always takes care of her clients, and is one of those people that's just no nonsense, bulldog out in the field, and takes care of business.
I'd rather be called a hot shot than a bulldog. That's for sure.
Nichole, when we were talking with Mike Salmon from Madison Street Partners, we were talking a little bit about the commercial lending and the make sense element is stripped. We see it stripped out of the residential lending, and it's frustrating because you have people that just represent what happened to us in the recession. And I bring that up because you're in that space where multiple offers are being made.
Yes.
And people are competing, and it's now part of your job to have the sellers understand the merits of your particular offer.
Absolutely. Yeah. I mean, we're seeing a lot of multiple offers on properties. It just overnight, we went from, somewhat of a stagnant market to the market just being completely on fire. And we're seeing multiple offers on almost everything that's priced fairly. Even if it's a little overpriced, we're seeing multiple offers.
Do you have to promote the buyer?
You definitely have to promote the buyer, but as an agent, you have to be able to properly counsel the buyer in putting their best foot forward when they make their original offer. The days of putting in an offer well below market value and hoping that the seller will take it because they're desperate, I think those days are gone for now.
As a consumer, do they buy into that, or are they struggling with that?
Well, it's funny that you ask because I think it was hard to counsel those consumers on their first offer or their second offer. But now that they're realizing that the first house they wanted is gone, the second house they wanted is gone, on their third offer, they're going to write their best offer. And so if we can sit them down and get them to understand that in the first place, they're going to have a lot better chance of getting the house that they really want.
And I think there's enough buzz on the street now, too, that everybody's going into this knowing that it's a hot market and knowing that they can't come in lowballing anything. Just doesn't work anymore.
Nope, it doesn't work.
Another challenge, and Nichole and I were talking about this on the way up with the lending activity and how congested it is. You have a huge refinance influx of activity. You have a home purchase market that's exploded overnight, and now you have all of these loans trying to squeeze through the funnel at the same time. And guess what? It's just taking longer. We were talking about how the 17-day loan contingency period, that's the standard language for the purchase contracts, it's setting yourself up for disaster in some cases where we just simply can't move that quick.
Absolutely. Yeah. And a lot of times we'll even release all of the other contingencies except for the loan contingency. So we'll release inspection contingencies or, anything like that. Even the appraisal contingency we'll release. But a lot of times you don't want to put your client in the position where they're releasing that loan contingency until you know for sure that it's going to be a done deal.
So how is the seller side handling that?
The seller side, it's very interesting because, again, goes back to properly counseling the seller. If you're a strong agent and you can properly counsel your seller in that, hey, this is industry standard. You just can't get a loan, and you just can't have a loan approval within 17 days. And you really make your seller understand that before the offers start coming in. I think it's all about, looking forward in these deals and making sure when you sit down with your seller at the time that you take the listing, you really properly counsel them and say, this is what you can expect when you get offers. And so this is not a shock to them when they get those offers. They already know.
Yeah, and I know in your case, actually, before, in a situation similar to that, you actually had me call the other person's loan agent just to drill them a little bit to make sure they were at least on the right path of getting a loan. Because it is, you're right, it's almost impossible right now to get a full loan approval within 17 days, but it doesn't mean they're not going to close. As a strong agent, you just have to know whether or not they're at least going down the right path.
Absolutely. And I mean, I think in this market, and well, really historically, it's all about managing expectations from the beginning. So there's no surprises for your client. Obviously, it's real estate. You're going to have these unexpected hurdles to jump over. But if you, at the beginning, can properly manage, I think the transaction's going to be a lot smoother for both the buyer and the seller.
You've been listening to Nichole Story from Prudential California Realty and on the Dino and Nelson Show. We'll be right back after commercials, and we'll be back with Nichole, and she's going to actually help me out this time with the Stump Dino segment, where callers have sent us questions. The one in particular: should I purchase a home with my girlfriend, or should I that I'm not married to yet, but we are engaged? What is that a good idea or not?
Oh, I can't wait for that answer.
So let's see. We'll be right back.
This is Nelson from the Dino and Nelson Show, and I want to tell you about one of our show partners, Efficient Services Escrow. As the name implies, Efficient Services Escrow provides lenders, realtors, home buyers, and sellers with fast, efficient, but most importantly, worry-free specialty escrow services. Dino and I know firsthand that real estate transactions can be complex and layered with areas of exposure for details to be handled incorrectly. The number one reason we work with Efficient Services Escrow is their seasoned veterans are reliable, proactive, and best of all, provide us worry-free escrow services. With any real estate sale, purchase, or refinance, call our trusted friends at Efficient Services Escrow, 949-208-9600. That's 949-208-9600, and let them know that Dino and Nelson sent you. Efficient Services Escrow at 949-208-9600 or online at efficientescrow.com.
In a chaotic real estate market, you want peace of mind when it comes to the home you're purchasing. Roadrunner Exterminating, a family-owned and operated company providing structural repairs, local treatments, and fumigation. Roadrunner Exterminating is a licensed, bonded, and insured expert in termite, pest control, and general contracting. For fast and efficient service, plus the peace of mind of knowing the condition of your new home, call Roadrunner Exterminating at 866-398-BUGS. That's 866-398-BUGS. Or on the web at roadrunnerexterminating.com. As always, mention the Dino and Nelson Show and get a free home inspection. 866-398-BUGS or roadrunnerexterminating.com. General Contractor License 922404. Nominal fee for escrow inspections.
The Dino and Nelson Show is brought to you by Best Chauffeured. Best Chauffeured offers personal chauffeur services for corporate events, large and small, and all types of people, not just celebrities. So next time you just want to relax and enjoy the ride, please call on Best Chauffeured Worldwide. It's effortless transportation and first-class service every time. Call 866-323-BEST. That's 866-323-BEST or online at bestchauffeured.com. Mention KTLK's Dino and Nelson Show and receive a special discount. 866-323-BEST or online at bestchauffeured.com.
Ever been frustrated during a real estate transaction, wondering just when you'll receive that phone call or status about your title insurance or escrow? With Title 365, consumers like you gain unprecedented access to the status of their title insurance and escrow transactions in real time. Title 365 was created with all the benefits you'd expect, so it's never been easier to download your documents, see what's outstanding, post a question, or connect with all parties online. Ask your realtor, lender, or escrow officer about Title 365 today, or visit Title365.com.
This is Nelson from the Dino and Nelson Show, and finally a reputable legal firm. CDA Law Center, a nationally recognized nonprofit homeowner advocate, one of the most trusted firms in the country for helping consumers with their loan modification process. CDA's attorneys have decades of combined experience guiding their clients through the very complex and choppy waters of loan modification. Call 877-499-4435. 877-499-4435. Finally, honest and ethical advice to gain real results. Call CDA Law Center at 877-499-4435 or online at cdalawcenter.com.
Welcome back to the Dino and Nelson Show here on K-Talk, AM 1150. We can be reached at 888-814-3335 or text the word REFI to 313131. That's text the word REFI to 313131.
So we have Nichole Story with us from Prudential, California Realty. And Nichole, what you were talking about, I really like. You're talking about coaching your customers, whether that's your buyers or your people listing their homes for sale. You're giving them clear coaching and direction. And I think that's just a void in our marketplace, where agents, some agents simply haven't been trained to do that, or maybe they're a little timid.
Well, it reminds me a lot of the old days, actually, when everybody was in the business. And there was very few that actually knew what they were doing. The majority of them were part-timers, had no common sense whatsoever, no business sense, and really knew nothing about real estate.
And this is what I marvel about with Nichole's history. You're what, 7-8 years into the real estate profession, correct?
Yes.
And with that, she's training agents for Prudential.
She is. I actually went to one of her seminars one time where she trained the entire office on short sales. And she was quite impressive up on stage, I must say.
Yeah, it's definitely been a great opportunity for me to really connect with the agents at Prudential. And I've been very fortunate in the sense that a lot of them do refer business to me on hard to close transactions. So it's been a great source of business for me. But more than anything, I'm really committed to training these agents in this industry because I feel like there sometimes is a lack of professionalism or a lack of guiding clients, like you're saying, because they're scared to lose a deal. They're scared to lose a client, when in fact, if they just counseled the client correctly, they would probably get the deal done a lot faster and they'd probably get more referrals from that client.
Do you find the gristled veterans that are the ones that are reluctant to change?
Actually, it's interesting because I think that the technology factor in the business, the fact that technology is really playing such a huge part in the business right now, is really forcing a change for agents, not only on the technology side, but just the way business is done in general. So I see the veterans are definitely changing with the market, which is great. And they know they have to if they want to keep selling houses.
So Nichole, here you are training people. Who trained you? How did you get like this?
Oh, well, I was very, very fortunate. My first 2 years in the business, I had the most amazing broker out of the Inland Empire who took me under her wing for 2 years and taught me everything she knew. So I was very fortunate in that. And that is something that with real estate companies in general, the training aspect is so important. So if it's a new agent getting into the business, I always strongly recommend that they go to a company that has a really strong mentor program or a really strong broker that can train them properly.
Now, you've worked with Nichole for a long time, and I just met her recently, but I can already tell one of the distinctives is that she has an opinion. There's a black and white of how to go about executing transactions, and it's not just in this varied shades of gray that causes a lot of problems, or the comment, don't worry about that, that'll be fine, and then all of a sudden that's the very issue that's imploding at the finish line.
That's why I called her a bulldog, because I have worked with her.
She didn't like that either.
She's like, okay, hot shot. I'll call her a hot shot.
So, Nichole, we're going to have you stay on for the Stump Dino. This is a segment where we're taking some comments made from the listeners on different scenarios. Dino is posed with the questions. I need you to help him because he's regularly stumped, just doesn't know. So, right out of this, let's hit you with this hot one that he talked about as we right before the break in Altadena. Boyfriend and girlfriend that are buying a home together. And the question is, I haven't proposed yet. Is this a good idea to buy real estate together?
Yeah, Nichole. What do you say?
Huh?
Well, you know...
And I'm curious what she's going to say because she is the female in the group here.
Yeah.
The good old-fashioned girl in me says that it would probably be a very smart idea to be married when you're purchasing a property. However, you know, in this day and age, there are some unconventional relationships, and That's a very good question, and I must defer to Dino.
Did I not just bill you as the one with an opinion?
I know.
That is
I'm sorry to
unbelievable.
disappoint.
All right, I have a very strong opinion. If you are not married and you guys are just boyfriend and girlfriend and you think you're going to spend the rest of your life together and you think everything is wonderful, do not buy a house with her until afterwards. Buy it. If you're the one putting all the money down, if you're the one qualifying, keep it that way. After you guys get married, then maybe put her on title, but do not
him on title.
Or him on title. Yeah, every once in a
you.
while you get that, but do not just throw that person on when you guys are dating. It doesn't work that way. You never know how it's going to work out. You're listening to the Dino and Nelson Show here on K-Talk AM 1150. We can be reached at 888-814-3335.
So this next question comes out of the commercial property sector. We don't know if Mike could have answered this or not, but we've got Bill Bergschneider from USA National Title. Here's the question, Bill. In commercial property, it seems that many, if not most, properties are held by entities or partnerships or LLCs, not a person or a group of people. So how does anyone know what to ask for when there are restrictions in purchasing?
Good question again, guys. So you have several different entities. You've got partnerships, which consist of general or limited partnerships. You've got corporations. You've got limited liability companies. So a little different for each entity. A partnership is created by its partnership agreement. If it's a general, you're going to look at that partnership agreement and any amendments that gets submitted through escrow to the title company to review, so we know who the signing partner is, who the general partner is that can actually sign on their behalf. With a limited partnership, they actually file a form with the Secretary of State. Again, it's down to the general partner. With the corporation, you've got corporate resolutions, articles of incorporation that define who can do what. That's what we look for. And then an LLC, you've got the LLC-1, which is filed. That's the articles of organization or an operating agreement. Your title company looks at all this stuff, examines this, and makes sure that not just the purchase contract, but the grantee itself is being signed by the right party.
And that was my question. Who signs these deals? Because on the residential side, we're not lending to entities or corporations. The banks want to lend to individuals and be able to go after them if they don't pay it back, as opposed to chasing after a corporation.
Absolutely. Yeah, the lending guidelines when it comes to buyers that are in entities are completely different. They qualify the entities. Sometimes they'll bind in an LLC, they may ask that the managing members of the LLC or even the limited members of the LLC bind that loan as well. So they look at the LLCs. It seems to be the most common entity these days, or a corp. They're going to look at the articles, see who the members are made of and what qualifies them. They also we compare that against what's filed with the Secretary of State. Gets a little more complicated when it's an out-of-state entity, but they just simply have to be qualified to do business in the state that they are doing business in.
Hey, Bill, thank you. I knew we could count on you. This is Bill Bergschneider from USA National Title. Thank you.
Thank you.
So out of Lemon Heights, get this. Purchasing a short sale. This is a home buyer that's purchasing a short sale. Previous owner took out all the toilets. I don't know if you've run into this, Nichole. And the bank is saying, we're not going to close the transaction until there's something to flush. What do you do?
You go to Home Depot, you pick up the cheapest toilet you can get, and you put it in there.
Would you do that before you own the home?
It's a tough call because the bank will not lend, and in theory, the seller is the one that's supposed to be doing it. Seller a lot of times doesn't have money, or maybe there is no seller really. There's the bank,
just the banking,
and the bank is saying we're not going to put a dime into this. So does let me ask you, Nichole, does the listing agent ever just go to Home Depot, pick up a few toilets, and drop them in?
Definitely. I mean, as a listing agent on a property like that, sometimes you're expected to go the extra mile and, pick up some toilets.
Redefining a full service real estate professional. So let me ask you this question, Nichole, and I'm going to skip right over Dino. He has no idea. Out of Ventura, somebody's buying a home. They've spoken to two agents. The two agents have come back and presented the exact same property. How do they choose which agent to actually write the offer with?
Well, which agent do they feel is counseling them the best?
And so it just comes down to the best direction, the feel that you have in terms of going through the contractual points.
Absolutely. Yeah, I think a lot of buyers realize how important those contracts really are. And a lot of buyers realize that, you're putting your savings, your home, everything on the line. So the real estate professional you choose at the end of the day is just as important as the home you choose.
And on the agent side, you've been in that situation. you got to be territorial. Hey, this is my client.
Absolutely. However, that's the name of the game. I mean, you have to know what you're doing. You have to be aggressive in this business. And so, obviously sometimes people lose clients, but usually the best realtor for that client wins.
All right. So out of Long Beach, Dino, get this. This is a situation that we always hear. My mom passed, left the property to 4 brothers and myself. We can't agree on anything. We want to sell the property. I don't even trust one of the brothers. I think he's going to take advantage of me. What do you do?
Well, I mean, that's obviously a personal problem. And that's why I think as parents, you need to do a good job with having a trust, a will, and setting up everything properly so the kids don't have to be in a situation like that, which actually what we should do is bring on our trust attorney to talk about that. That would be a great topic one day.
We'll get that scheduled. I think that's where people get stuck, and there is those kind of family dynamics that are difficult to work through.
And if you are stuck in a situation like that, give us a call. We can refer you to the right people. This is Dino and my buddy Nelson here on the Dino and Nelson Show here on K-Talk, AM 1150. We can be heard every weekend afternoon, and we can be reached at 888-814-3335 or at dinoandnelson.com. We'll see you next week. Thank you.
Are you frustrated with what sounds like all